I cut you out. Unless you want to be in there. Okay, so wait, let me just open this. Here we go. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is you press, once you're in, you press start course. And then on the side, you have here teens. You could see on the side, and this is the drop down for teens. Parents and teachers are the same. So when you open it, you see the little index on what they get. They're two different courses. So this is like the overview. What are ideal relationships? The marshmallow test. Have you seen the marshmallow test?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about impulse control, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's taking that, like we don't always get what we want, and it's sometimes good to push self desires and sometimes not. And we can walk through this step by step. I just wanted you to see the overview.
Right.
So this is the overview for teens, and the overview for parents and teachers is different. They have some of it, but it's also things, what do I need to know? What's intimacy in a Jewish home? Who's on duty? Doctors. We did check with 2 different doctors for this course. We also checked with just different educators around the globe, looked it over, and we are sending it also to another from social worker to have it looked over. But it was written by a team of educators, myself included. I did a lot of the writing of this course, and I did a lot of research, you know, just about teen and sexual health. So this is the introduction.
Right.
So it doesn't say anyone's name anywhere except for when I quote people.
Uh-huh.
So
like the course creators, you as one of them. The other people that created it, you don't share that?
Their names? Well, we didn't. No, but I guess I could. I didn't use my name either because Jets is Jets, and we have like 30 courses on our website, and it doesn't say anyone's name. It says the Jets staff for everything. That's just okay. Our policy. We have JSTEAM courses and Hebrew courses, and because a lot of people are doing different things, so you can look on our website, and that's who wrote it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, it may be. Because of the sensitivity that's around this, there may be some value this for you to consider.
Yeah.
In terms of sharing, because as I said, my administrators wanted to know right away. So you know, if I don't know, David Pelkovitz's name is associated with it, I just bring that up because we're using him for something else, and he's a known quantity here in the States as someone who can speak to this area, you know. So that means something immediately to everybody. I'm sure there's any number of names, and maybe the names of the people that, in fact, that you wrote the course with and consulted with as well, may be known quantities that would make people feel more confident that they can trust it. But that's, you know, that's your call, obviously.
Yeah. Do you know Joan Vanderwald from Silver Spring?
I don't. Joan. Joan.
Yeah. She's a veteran educator. She used to run. She ran the middle school at CES JDS. She lives in Silver Spring.
Okay.
So she was like, I wrote it, but then she looked it over, and I just kept sending it around to different people, and they would tell me feedback, and we'd incorporate it, and I kept doing more research.
Right.
We have a few rabbis on staff that looked it over.
Right.
So here, what's an ideal relationship? Will this relationship last forever? What are some consequences of sending or posted inappropriate messages? What is inappropriate?
Right.
Friends with benefits, what does that mean? Is this what you wanted? And some of these are if there's a quote from someone, so it says the person's Deborah Rothman. It's from a book, and obviously there's a bibliography at the end where everything is quoted. Right. Getting kids to ask themselves these questions. So they watch the video. and what's the connection. And this
Right.
is not collated, so if they submit it, it goes into cyberspace. It's not, we don't judge them. There's nobody watching. It's just for their discussion, feedback. We don't know who does it.
Right.
Would you have waited? So it's kind of getting them to be aware of their impulses or not. Okay.
Right.
And what are healthy guidelines for teenagers? What are some background thoughts? So we do quote, these are from the Yoatzet Halacha, My Jewish Learning. That's just what is Tarat HaMishpacha and what are these things. Some people don't know, depending on the
Right.
source. So just basic information. And later on, I hyperlink to the Yoatzot Halacha from Nishmat.
Yeah.
So that's quoted. The first mitzvah was to be intimate, but it's about holiness and that's the Gemara, obviously. So that's quoted. It's the Gemara, but I quote just the friendly Gemara friendly site, the People's Talmud. Have you seen that?
The People's Talmud?
Yeah.
No.
It just has an aesthetic way of lining up Gemara.
Oh.
It has the whole Gemara in it too, and you can research anything. You could write like dreams, and then it'll give you every Gemara that's about dreams. You could write demons, and then there's lots of stuff on Gemara about superstition. You write superstition, and so it's a very friendly site for searching.
I see. And it has all those graphics and pictures and stuff like that.
Well, I have this graphic.
Is that from the People's Talmud?
Yeah. I don't know why they choose that one. I didn't choose. So here, you can.
I see.
You could search anything. So it's a really nice site to know about also. You just want that. It's put together by Gedalia Gerfine. You know him?
Yeah.
It's his pet project. So it tells you to discuss with a trusted adult. So if you're doing this in a class, if you're discussing it in a class, or if you're doing this one-on-one, it has suggestions, but it doesn't tell you, exactly what to do or say. But here are some things that that happen in today's world.
Right.
This is from Dr. Sharon Maxwell. So she has a website, and she wrote a book, which is all about sexual health for adults. And she's very well known. So her articles are there, her books are quoted at the end. So again, this is anonymous. Whatever you type here, I do not know who you are, and I do not know what you said.
Right.
But it's to encourage people to talk about it.
Yeah. So this is something that the students do independently. They do it in a classroom, and then everyone, is it, how is it, how are these three different pieces, done? If you sign up for this JETS class, what then happens?
So you get this course in your inbox, and it's for your whole school up to 400 students. If you have, 800 students, we ask you to buy 2, because if you can send it to every parent, you would be able to send them this link, and every parent and every student gets all of this, everything. And we encourage you to facilitate it on your own in your own school. You can do it in a classroom. Okay, this is, intimacy month, and we're doing this class now every Friday. And we're having workshops about it. We're discussing it together, or you could do it individually if you feel like it's not a place where they're going to be welcome to discuss it together. It's really personal and flexible how the school wants to implement it.
I see.
This
So,
is,
so
yeah.
you can send, and so you would send to the parents, and the parents would go presumably to the parents section,
Mhm.
and the teachers. You've got the three areas:
Yeah.
teens, teachers, and there isn't a training that comes along with this for the professionals.
I can, they can read through ideally you can read through it and just figure this out. You know, it's all just,
Yeah, yeah,
if you want a webinar with it, then I can do this with you and say, hey, I really recommend focusing here and here. You should do a workshop. And there's a Google form that we just saw before. Have everyone do that. Those Google forms I can collate, but I don't, they are collated. The Google form that was in before about what's your ideal boyfriend or girlfriend, what kind of qualities do you want them to have, you know, just to get them to realize that we don't live it, like Disneyland isn't real, though it pains me to say, right? That, you know, you're not going to have your prince in shining armor. You're going to have a real person who's going to have flaws and weaknesses. So I can highlight that in a webinar, but that's an extra cost unless you become, unless you're a member of JetsPack, are you?
we're a member of something.
JSteam?
Yeah, yes, I think yes, JC.
Okay, so you can upgrade and become a member of, if you become pro, then you get the course and all our other courses, Hebrew language, we have for Yom Ha'atzmaut, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaShoah, Pesach, and Purim, and you get a webinar.
Right. Okay.
So you could do that too.
Right.
So again, these are quotes from Dr. Sharon Maxwell. I just kind of organized it in different ways. Click through the arrows and discuss each scenario. How is your teen partaking in social media? So this part is for parents. And here it's quoted from Common Sense Media. So that's where it's quoted from. Here are scenarios. This is from Sharon Maxwell's book.
Right.
Yeah, and these are true stories. This happened in Israel. I don't know if you heard about that.
Sure. Who didn't?
Yeah, and I was devastated. Like, it's devastating. They're kids who live in Yerushalayim, these kids.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong with our world, and we're not taking control of it enough. This is us. This is on us. These kids are like this. Rules and regs. What are your rules and regulations? Do you have them? So this is for parents. Do your students know? Do your kids know that you don't want them on inappropriate sites? Do they know what an inappropriate site is? Is their phone filtered? Do you want to have a filter? Why don't you want to have a filter? So this one, the parent and teen one and teacher one, asks a lot of questions that parents and teachers might not have thought about.
Got it. Okay.
So
So this is very helpful. I appreciate it,
sure.
and I'll be able to convey to the others.
Some frightening statistic. I mean, I was mortified to see this, but that's pretty much every kid in the U.S.
Boys' exposure to pornography before the age of 18 in the U.S.
This is
90%, and only 10% not exposed. Wow.
Right, and then it tells you the source where I got that from.
Right.
And it does have some like sexual health, like little FYIs about it.
Right.
So I think look at that, right? That's
9 out of 10 boys and 6 out of 10 will be exposed to pornography before the age of 18.
pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
So where? Accident, family, friend, you know, so you can go and read the article yourself. I kind of summarized it here in that little horrifying graphic, but I think parents and teachers should know this. Why should we not? It's so irresponsible for us not to know this. And the effects on it for boys and for girls. And so this is like a little check-in, right?
I see.
This is from a doctor in Jerusalem told me this.
Up to 20% of Orthodox teens engage in sexual experiences before marriage.
This is a doctor I interviewed in Jerusalem. I couldn't say the clinic that she works in, but she's getting Beis Yaakov girls getting 3-month shots of birth control, single girls. And they come in every 3 months for birth control shots.
These are her statistics, that 20%, or where does she get that?
From her clinic. She's a doctor. She's a pediatrician.
No, I understand, but the teens that come into her clinic may be different than the general population.
She has Beis Yaakov girls, so if that's Beis Yaakov, what's less than Beis Yaakov?
Right. No, I was just questioning how she conducted the study to be able to make such a statement that 20% of orth, maybe it's higher. I don't know. I'm just curious how she got to her, how she conducted her study.
She sent me a study. I have bibliography. If it's not, then I'll make sure to put it there.
Yeah, I'm sure in the modern Orthodox world it's higher. I mean, that's my instinct.
Yeah.
20% is low. If it is the Beis Yaakov world, I am surprised that it's that high.
She has some horribly frightening stories. It's horrifying. Everything she tells me, absolutely horrifying.
I'm sure.
So here are values reflected in the laws. So whatever they choose. So if you choose that, so that's her face, and then it has a little pop up. So it goes back. So you can try it again. And then she gets excited. So this is for parents. It's informative. Adam and Chava is lada'at. It's similar.
Yeah.
The girls were meant to be together. I know it. Sounds like you've had some relationships you considered. And then you get to try it. Every time you get it wrong, you get to go back. You get to go back and try it again.
Okay. Okay. Have you had any schools that have used this already?
We have, but they don't, people don't write to us. People do it, and I don't know. It's meant to be yours.
Right. No, I get it. Right. I'm curious. I'm assuming that these schools sent to the parents the course,
mm-hmm.
and I'd be curious to know how many parents bothered to go through it and look at it. And how long do you think it takes to go through it?
I estimated the teen one about 3 hours, and the parent one probably a little less, because there's not videos and there's not the Google forms about what kind of relationship do you want and have. But you can, it's probably about 2 hours for parents and and teachers, and 3 hours for teens. If you sit and make a plan, a regulation, what is my plan for my teen about all of these? If you really sit and do this homework, it could take more, it could take 3 hours. We recommend that schools push it. We're highlighting this week. We're having a session at school this week. You want to open the course on a projector and a board and a smart board and show some of it, and then have a discussion. Or have one of the teachers facilitate something. You have to do something to make it come alive.
Right. Okay.
Legal aspects. There are legal aspects to these things.
For sure.
More scary statistics.
Yeah. All right. This has been very informative. I appreciate the time you've taken.
Sure.
Through it, yeah, and I'll be able to convey that further. Great, thank you.
This is like a little quiz. What's the most common time of day? You think it's at night? It's not. Public schools, kids. Jewish schools, okay, they're usually in school, but it is a little scary. So it's like a little bit interactive. It's not just reading. 1 million teen pregnancies. Scary. Sure. So this is a great video about impulse control, which is for everyone. It's called ADHD, but every teen struggles with impulse control. So it's wonderful to start off a workshop, showing this. saying, what does that mean in all aspects of our lives? For
Right.
homework, for relationships, for food, nutrition, sports, make a graph, do a workshop. What are the rules and regs for each one of those?
Got it. Okay.
So the system, the car is a wonderful place to open a conversation. They put, you don't need to look at each other. Right. Yeah. So if you want, I can give you access for a week or so, and then you can share it with your admins, and then.
Okay. That would be nice. I'm sure they would appreciate that. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I'll send you a code
Okay.
to have it, and then you can exercising the no muscle. When do we need to do that? What are other times in our lives where we have to say no? Okay, so I will send.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What's going on in the other thing you're doing? You said there's no end to the work. It sounds like what I kind of picked up. It's like when you work for yourself, right? You're never busier than when you work for yourself. So it sounded like it was whoever like decides to take it over, you could just create and make all kinds